This week on Half Step Down, Renee talks about his heritage.
When I was thinking, it's like, what would I do for a boxing song? You know what? I am Mexican.
Jose agrees in the weirdest way possible.
Oh, yeah, man.
And the boys offer a little peek behind the scenes. Do we like scorpions? I'm going to remember. That, hold on. When did that happen? Because that's going to be the quote at the thing. Do we like scorpions? 28 minutes. Just making a little note here.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
That's going to go on the promo. Do we like scorpions?
Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Half Step Down is a free podcast, and it starts now. Let's do this.
All right. Jose, have I ever told you about how invisible I feel sometimes?
No, tell me about it.
Okay, well, the audience needs to know one thing though. We are on the bigger side, right? Would you like to think we're more? I'd like to think that we're more festively plump.
I would say, yeah.
Right? We just haven't leaned out yet.
Every time I tell people how much they weigh, they go, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and they go, "Oh man, I wouldn't have guessed."
Yeah, same here. Mm-hmm. Same here. When I tell people how much I weigh, they're like, "No, I don't believe you." And it's like, well, that's how much I weigh. Anyways, so. I'm going to tell you two quick stories that go together, two totally separate stories, but they kind of go together with what I want to say. Do you remember, I've told you and our friend Steve about when you guys, again, we're a few years apart, where we went to go rent a movie, I think it was a movie, and you guys found a potato bug, and you guys decided it would be funny to record it and like film the potato bug. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
Okay. So I had mentioned that to you guys years and I was probably have to have been 10, 12, maybe 11 years old. And you guys were in high school. And I remember telling that to you guys. And you guys were like, you were there? And I was like, yes, I was there. I remember watching that video the same night. And I remember even at that age, I was like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was like, no, I was there, right? So today I spoke to another friend of mine. And there was an occurrence where I was at his house and we were going to go drive to get something to drink or something. I forgot what it was. And we saw this stray dog with an eye come out of his socket, like hanging out of his socket. And I remember that I remember that was something engraved in my mind and I couldn't believe it. And I remember talking to my friend about that. And I told him, dude, do you remember when we saw that dog with his, eye hanging out of his socket, how bad we felt? You were there? I was like, dude, does anybody not remember me? In any point in time, and you know what? That happens to me often. It happens to me. People forget that I'm there, and I'm not I'm a pretty, hefty individual sometimes, I guess.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think sometimes it's the event that takes over, and then you just unfortunately, I don't know, man, you fall by the wayside. I don't know how to.
I guess so. I guess I do, right? Yeah. And I remember just laughing, and my buddy was like, wow, I don't remember you being there. It's cool, dude. That happens to me all the time. But you know what? Now that we have a podcast, nobody can forget that I'm here with you at all times.
There you go, man. That was a nice segue.
Thank you. Welcome to Half Step Down, everyone. I am your host, Renee Grano. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jose Martinez.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
How are you today, Jose?
I'm not bad at all, man. Not bad at all.
Well, this is a show where we create soundtracks and or playlists for any given situation, whether they be serious or sad or happy or funny or just some random things that we like to come up with. Jose, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
All right, so today's theme is, we've been talking about this. At the time of us recording this, the World Series has just ended. Renee, who won the World Series this year? Do you remember who won the World Series this year?
I remember who won in 2016.
That's irrelevant. I think this year we need to know that the Los Angeles Dodgers are our World Series champions, which I'm really happy about. But that got me thinking, and I think we talked about this. When those guys come out to bat, they have a song. They have a walkout song.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a wrestler, you've got a walkout song. If you're a boxer, you got a walkout song. Comedians come out to stuff. Hell, bands come out to their own music. So we're thinking, why don't we pick some songs that if we were baseball players, boxers, wrestlers, what would we walk out to? And these are those songs.
I am so excited for this.
I am really happy about this.
I am a pro wrestling fan at heart. I will always be a pro wrestling fan. And when you're a pro wrestling fan, you always think to yourself, what would I come out to? And there's not one, it probably hasn't happened once. It probably has happened a dozen times where a wrestling fan listens to a song and they just picture themselves walking down that ramp into that squared circle, getting ready to fight for the championship at that time.
I love that you're getting into that squared circle. I always like when people use that term.
It's the best. How else can you explain a wrestling ring? It's the squared circle.
It's the squared circle. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to have a lot of fun with this. So this is what we're gonna do. While we explain these, it's not that late.
No, just take your time.
Let me take a breath. I'm a little hyperactive today, I guess. While we're doing this, let's try to figure out which song is for what sport and or event or comedy show or whatever. How does that sound?
That sounds like a great idea. I like it.
Okay, let's do it. Why don't we let's just jump in it. Let's start.
Okay, let's jump in right at the top. So the first song we have on our list is by A Day to Remember, The Downfall of Us All. Now, this is one of your picks.
Yes.
I'm going to go... Would this be your wrestling walkout song?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I chose this song because lately in the last few years or so, there has been memorable measures in a song, whether it's there's a wrestler called Shinsuke Nakamura and there's a violin that plays throughout the whole song. And even when the song is over, the entire audience is like screaming what the violin is doing for like 30 seconds. And every time I see that, it's just awesome. It's like, wow, can you imagine being in the ring and just seeing the audience just like sing something that has no words to it? And so I've always felt that the beginning of the downfall of us all would be something that everybody can chant while I'm just waiting in the ring.
That, you know what? I witnessed something like that one time. I saw Megadeth. God, this must have been like 8 years ago. And I think it's the song Symphony for Destruction. There's a riff where on Beavis and Butthead, they'd make the noise. And I don't know if this is like a thing. I've only seen Megadeth a few times. But when we saw him this one particular time, a good percentage of the audience would do the Beavis and Butthead. Da-da-da, da-da-da. And I'm like, what, is that a thing that people do? And it's always fun when that happens in a crowd. Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? I have seen countless WrestleManias, and there's Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode. Those are the two that really stand out right now, especially in pro wrestling, that even after the song is over, people are still singing or chanting. You know what I mean? They're still going along with it, even though the song's already been played. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. So that was the first thing that popped into my head when it came to a wrestling song. I said, I need to think of a wrestling song that'll make people just wanna keep going after the song's over, and I think that would be a good one.
This is a good one. It has that wrestling kind of aggressiveness. Is this what kind of pop punk is this pop punk or is this punk? What is this?
I would think you know what? A Day to Remember is pretty interesting because they blew up in the mid 2000s, and I don't know if I would consider this pop punk as much, maybe screamo punk or something along the lines of that, because it's not completely screamo, right? Maybe there is a genre called post-hardcore, which isn't necessarily hardcore music, but just has that hardcore feel to it. So maybe post-hardcore.
Yeah, I'm looking these guys up right here on like the Spotify thing, and it doesn't really say like what kind of music they're in. They've hit the #1 on the Billboard for like the rock charts, which is really impressive. But I don't know if I would consider them. They have that almost heavy metal almost gallop in this song.
Yeah. And this is one of their biggest, if not their biggest hit. Absolutely. This is I think this is off their first record.
Yeah, these guys they look tough. The dude's got the Fred Perry going. I'm looking at these guys. Yeah, man. I was a little like taken aback by how aggressive the instrumentation was, but how happy sounding the singer kind of was. And
Yeah,
it was cool, man. It's got that gallop that I really like.
yeah.
In like metal music. But yeah, I didn't think that this was pop punk, but I wanted to ask because sometimes I'm surprised. Sometimes I'm surprised.
Yeah, I would actually think it's post-hardcore.
Okay, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think I've heard that
Yeah.
term thrown around a bunch.
Yeah. Oh. Let's go to your let's go to the next one, and because I think this one's very interesting.
Okay, so the next one on our list. Let me pull up the list because my notes are out of order. Of course they are. Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor.
Well, before I try to think, well, I try because obviously thinking is a very difficult thing to do. Before I spew my answer, I'm going to ask you something. Have you ever been on Spotify and on your cell phone, and when you hit the title of the song that you're listening to at the time, there'll be a window that pops up, and then there's usually the album cover or something. I don't know if I have a feeling we've talked about this, but sometimes they're just like it's the album cover, but then sometimes it's like these visuals
Yes.
or like
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed on this song, but it's just Sinead O'Connor moving her head, and it's so weird to just watch. And I noticed that it was like captivating at the same time because all I kept looking was at her. I was like, I need to turn this off. Just listen to the song.
That's from the music video, bro. It's from that music video. I think is Just Her Face.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought because listening, I think I was listening to Drive by Incubus because obviously the audience knows how much I love that song now, apparently, even though it's 25 years old. They show a little portion of that part of the video, and it's just that the whole time. And I'm like, why don't you just show the video? That Spotify, that's what you need to do. You need to just play music videos if there's music videos for those songs.
That would be kind of cool. I would enjoy that.
Right?
What I miss visualizers.
Visualizers are cool, like on Winamp.
Like on Winamp, man, I miss that. I know there's a way to do it for Spotify, but I don't want to go to like an external website. Just build it into the player, man. Just get it going.
Right? Just get it going. I mean, you might as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go. Geez.
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
I really like because we get to do one of my favorite things, which is whisper into a microphone.
Yeah. You're not really whispering.
That's I won't do this one.
Sinead O'Connor.
You gonna make ASM? What are the ASMR videos?
ASMR, yeah. Sinead O'Connor. I'm gonna say that it is your bass a walk-up song to the home plate.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I could just see you call my name and then it just blaring that nothing compares. Just that part. Just a little giggle from the pitcher, get in the guy's head a little bit.
I was thinking the same thing. You're probably doing it just to get into the pitcher's head. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. There's bases are loaded. You guys are down by 3 runs, and just get into the pitcher's head.
Oh yeah, man. This is one of those songs, man, where you just want to lay down. This is one of the all-time great breakup songs.
Yeah.
Song was actually written by Prince.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. He was. I think we've talked about this before, but he's like notoriously protective of his music. And I think I don't know how she got a hold of actually singing this song, but at one point she was like totally talking shit about him. I don't know. Sinead O'Connor is a really interesting lady. She's gone through a lot. She's done a lot of stuff. I know she's had that big SNL controversy. She ripped up that picture of the Pope.
I remember that.
So yeah, she's been all over the place, man. But this is a classic, man. This is one to tear jerk to. But I think watching me walk out to hit.
Did you just say tear jerk?
Yeah, that tear jerkers, man.
Huh.
You never heard that term?
No. That's just all right. Yeah, tear jerk, huh?
Tear jerker. You never heard tear jerker?
Okay. I don't think I have. No.
Yeah, man. It's like anything that's like really sad.
So you're just gonna jerk a tear?
I wouldn't think of it as it is a term. Look it up.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna have to.
I know you're gonna have to now. I mean, well, I don't know if you want to Google image search that, but like, here, let me look up tearjerker just so we can get. This is good. This is good podcasting.
Yeah.
Tearjerker, a sentimental story, movie song calculated to evoke shades of sadness or sympathy.
I've never heard that.
It's also a rock band. Tearjerker.
Ah.
And that's all at a Canadian indie rock band.
Well, I mean, I would think they're Canadian, but the name like Tearjerker, and that they're indie.
Oh, that's absolutely. The indie was without question.
Right? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's a good name of a band right there. Without question.
Without question.
Without question. I like that. That's the name of our band.
I like it.
We'll be a Los Angeles indie band.
Los Angeles indie band. Oh, there's no shortage of those either.
Yeah.
Ocean. Oh man.
You know, Sinead O'Connor is I remember when I was young, because when we were younger, it was weird to see women who just didn't have long hair, right? And she was the one that just shaved her head off. I remember how crazy that was when she did it, you know? And I always thought Sinead O'Connor was a real life version of Sarah Connor.
Did you?
Yeah. I just assumed that was Sarah Connor when I was a kid. I was like, oh, that's Sarah, that's the girl from Terminator. She looks so much like Sarah Connor.
Well, okay, so one, I don't think she's ever had hair. I think she always shaved it. I could sort of see what you're talking, especially like Terminator 2, when Sarah Connor comes back like just badass.
Just buff and ripped. Yeah.
I'm actually looking through pictures of Sinead O'Connor. I don't know why there's a picture of Arsenio Hall when you Google image search, but let's just keep going. It must be something about that happened on one of his shows or whatever. You know what? I had a really weird, like, kind of not like a similar experience, but for the longest time, just because I heard David Spade's voice, and I don't know why it sounds like the same voice to me, but for the longest time, I thought that David Spade was the singer to the Violent Femmes.
Every time I think of David Spade, I just think of Total Bastard Airlines.
Oh my.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh man.
I catch myself always saying bye-bye.
Yeah, I do. I hear you say it.
Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah. Why don't we hep over? Wow. Why don't we hep over? Why don't we? That was a tearjerker.
Nah.
Why don't we jump over to the next song?
Next one. Okay, this is back in the day. Criss Cross, Jump. Now, let me pull up my notes here because I got to start printing these notes out. I don't know what the hell I'm doing by not doing that, or at least writing them down. This one, is this your baseball walkout song?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there it is.
Absolutely, my baseball walk up. Can you just imagine seeing me walk up to home plate, getting ready to just get a tearjerker going and just swinging that bat? But I'm walking up to just jump, and everyone's just jumping. They're so excited to see Rene Grano just gonna score some runs for his team.
There it is,
for the home team. You know?
Do you think you'd be like a power slugger?
Actually, I think I'd be more of a small ball. More of a small ball player.
That wins games, man. That wins games.
Yeah, that wins games. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I was doing the research for these guys, just a little bit of stuff, I didn't know that Jermaine Dupri discovered these kids.
Yeah. I actually used to dress up like Criss Cross. I used to wear all my jerseys and jeans backwards.
You used to do it? Oh my God.
Yeah. And not just for Halloween, like at all times.
You know what? We should take a second. For some of the people that don't remember Criss Cross. So Criss Cross, they were like kid rappers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were like two small like kids, and their whole thing was that they wore all their clothes backwards. So just imagine like 90s kind of gangster rap era clothes on backwards on kids, and that was like a thing.
Yeah,
they're
and it was always baseball jerseys.
Yes, I remember it was always baseball jerseys.
Yeah, and their baseball jerseys were backwards, their jeans were backwards, and their hats were backwards.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember that being like a thing for a little while. When? God,
I
gotta look up when this was. When exactly?
91. 91.
Let's see. 92. Really close.
92. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I
played that record That I played that CD when I was like crazy when I was a kid. Oh man, my brother till this day says, "Man, you did not stop playing that CD." And I was like, "Dude, I loved Crisscross." Yeah, well, you and I should dress up like Crisscross for Halloween next year.
We should do that, man. That would be
And
fun.
if we're in a pandemic, we can just put our we have to stay true to the costume, and we just put our masks behind our
Let's
head.
put our mask behind our head. Dude,
Yeah.
I just recently realized that one of these guys died.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Chris Kelly
Oh,
passed away at some point.
oh, bummer.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they are definitely one of the most 90s things I can possibly remember.
And Jump is one of the most like.
Yeah.
If you remember the '90s, you remember Jump by Crisscross.
You got any movie where like something hip hop related happened in the 90s, they would probably throw in that little like that little like sound effect before the jump that almost sounds like a record scratch, but it's that little high pitched whatever that is.
Yeah.
Anytime they'd be like, "Oh, we've got to go to the bad part of town," they would put in that little like.
Yeah.
And it was always just, oh my god. It's almost as 90s as, and I cannot wait, and I hope that this has a resurgence when Space Jam 2 comes out. But all that gear with the Looney Tunes in like baggy gangster clothes. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
I hope that makes a comeback.
Do you remember Tweety on jean jackets?
I remember Tweety on jean jackets. I remember
Tweety was on jean jackets. Do you remember? This wasn't a Disney character, but there was a duck. It was a duck, and it had a bandana and like a gold chain, and at the bottom it always said "Who's the Boss." Do you remember the "Who's the Boss" T-shirts?
Oh, let me look that up. The Who's the
You
Boss?
gotta look that up. Who's the Boss T-shirts? Yeah, it was a duck. I think it was a duck with a bandana. He might have had a tank top. I don't remember, but it said "Who's the duck?" I mean, who's the boss?
Who's the when I look up who's? Oh wait, I think I see it. I got a bunch of Tony Danza right now.
Oh, yeah, of course,
of course. I'm the
Hold me
boss.
closer, Tony Danza.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I see it. Oh my god.
Do you remember those?
I do remember. I remember. I think I think it says "I'm the boss." Let me see if I see "I'm the boss."
Oh, is it "I'm the boss"? Okay,
I'm the boss. Yes. Duck.
Yeah.
Duck shirt. Yeah, I'm the boss. Duck shirt.
Yeah.
And it's just like his little baggy, like he looks like he would sing in like a Boston hardcore band, and it just says "I'm the boss."
Did I just rip my shorts?
It happens, man. Are you all right?
Yeah.
It happens.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
I'm
the problem with us guys is that we will hold on to articles of clothing until they just become like vapor, right? Until they just fall off. I have an undershirt like a tank top, and there's a hole right here on the side of my stomach over here by my ribs, and I still don't want to throw it away. Because it still fits. It's still good.
It's still a good shirt, man. You can't throw away something like that.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's vintage. That's vintage.
Exactly. Yes. Let's go to the next song.
All right, next one. Shaggy, Mr. Bombastic.
See, I'm gonna assume this is also a baseball entrance walk-up song because this just seems baseball to me all over.
This would, if I were a wrestler, this would be what I would come out to.
Interesting. Okay.
Now,
I actually have that. Okay.
Let it be known that I'm not super familiar with wrestling. I got out of wrestling around the time, like the Hulk Hogan era. I haven't watched it in a while, but from what I remember, the golden age of wrestling. But from what I remember, there was there are like comedic characters, right? Like comedic wrestlers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I'd be because I'm definitely not the foil, and I'm definitely not the hero. I would be some sort of comedy guy that the story would somehow involve me getting hurt in a hilarious way, and then
you're the mid card. You're the mid card. Yeah, you're in the mid card. Yeah, you're the guy that you're the buffer between there's my dog, by the way. You're the buffer between the ladder match and the main event, the one that has to the match that makes everybody calm down.
Oh, okay. Now I'm starting to understand it. I'm starting
you're
to
the
learn
buffer.
learn more about wrestling as things go on.
Yeah.
I know you're always talking about wrestling. I've talked about this guy on the podcast before, but that YouTuber Justin Wang is a huge wrestling guy, so he's always talking about it. He actually did a really cool video that you would like about the Attitude Era of WWE, which you had been telling me about.
The Attitude
which is
Era,
cool.
yeah.
We got to talk about Shaggy for a second. You know, Shaggy was in the Marine Corps.
I did not know that. I did not know that he was in the Marine Corps.
Let me correct myself. Multi-Grammy Award winner Shaggy was in the Marine Corps.
Shaggy was a Grammy winner, huh?
Multi-Grammy Award winner. He just did a thing with Sting, which I heard, which is not bad. But God, man, this guy was all over the 90s. This guy was all over the 90s as well.
I felt like he was more like a 2000 sort of guy.
He had I think in the early 2000s, I think the last big hit I remember from him was It Wasn't Me. But I think his heyday...
Wasn't that his first one? Or was Mr. Boombastic before It Wasn't Me?
Because Mr. Boombastic was... Let me pull up the date that Mr. Boombastic was released. Because this is important.
It Wasn't Me.
What, dude? I saw you on the corner. Sorry.
It Wasn't Me.
That's always been my... It Wasn't Me. I learned...
That's an Eddie Murphy thing, too.
So...
In Eddie Murphy Raw, when he's doing stand-up, and he goes... there was a bit in Eddie Murphy Raw where he talks about how one of his friends got caught cheating. He go, I saw you coming out of that girl's house. And the dude, all he said was, hey, it wasn't me. He's like, what do you mean? I saw you walking out of there. Wasn't me. And she's like, yeah, maybe it wasn't you. Yeah, maybe it wasn't you. Yeah.
So Boombastic was 95.
Oh, geez.
And then when was the next one? Dude, 95. Damn. He did a thing, looks like it's... Oh, no, that was just him sampling other stuff. And then I think it was 99 that you started to see some of the
That's
other
when you
stuff.
That's when you started to see Shaggy really come up in the mainstream.
Well, I don't know, man. Boombastic was a huge hit, man. That was all over the radio.
You know what? Maybe I was just a little too young. The first Shaggy song I remember was It Wasn't Me.
It Wasn't Me. Yeah, so this album was in 1999. That's when that one came out. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's kind of where I started, where it was all over MTV, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was all over MTV.
So this would be your wrestling song.
This would be my wrestling song.
Okay. Yeah. So you'd be like the guy in the Royal Rumble that's in there for 2 seconds and you get knocked out, and that's the record, and you're known to have...
I'm known to have
fastest,
that. Yeah,
the fastest elimination of all time because you're just Mr. Boom. And that would be your name, right? Mr. Boombastic?
I'd be Mr. Boombastic. Yeah, I'd totally be Mr. Boombastic.
Yeah, I like that. Everyone's chanting my theme song, and everyone's just laughing because you got eliminated so fast.
Yeah, no. What? I was going to I have a friend who went and saw, because him and Sting did a tour together, Shaggy and Sting. And
that's like the Family Values story.
It's a little Family Values-esque. Although I'd imagine the crowd's a little bit different. But I remember his Instagram stories from that show, because he was there for Sting. And just all this, like, WTF is this? Like, he had like no idea who Shaggy was. And this guy, he kind of looks and dresses like a vampire. And I think it's just hilarious. That story goes nowhere, but that's okay. It's a free podcast.
It's a free podcast. We like vampires. Vampires and Sting and scorpions, apparently.
Do we like scorpions? I'm going to remember that. Hold on. When did that happen? Because that's going to be the quote at the thing. Do we like scorpions? 28 minutes. I'm just making a little note here.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
But that's going to go on the promo. Do we like scorpions?
Yeah. Let's jump to the next one, dude. We're just ranting now.
This is good.
We're rambling. Not even ranting. We're just rambling.
All right, here we go. Jorge Valenzuela, El Aguadito.
El Aguitado.
El Aguitado. I can't read Spanish.
Yeah, El Aguitado. Aguitado means like bummed out, sad.
Bummed out.
Yeah. Hashtag sad boy.
This would be your your boxing song, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I feel like mine are just very like you already know which one is which.
Aguadito. Is that how you say it? Say it again?
Aguitado.
Aguitado.
El Aguitado by Jorge Valenzuela. So this, I love this song, bro. I have, I don't listen to a lot of Spanish music. Mm-hmm. I do. I'd probably say 30% of my music listening is Spanish. But this song, man, this song gets me, bro. I love this song. And when I was thinking, it's like, what would I do for a boxing song? You know what? I am Mexican. So, you know, I said, I'm gonna listen. I am Mexican. I'm gonna listen to El Aguitado. Like, this would be my banger, bro. Like, I just walk out, and especially because there's the kazoo right in the middle of the song before it like goes off. It's just like, what is okay, they couldn't think of any other instrument but the kazoo.
So first of all, nothing makes me happier than seeing like paisa Mexican dudes in like BMWs and like Mercedes. Yeah. I don't remember which family member of ours it was. God, I forgot, but he was talking about his dad, because his dad used to drive this old like Toyota pickup truck that like, now this is gonna sound like it's like a bad cliche, but because he would do like gardening on the side, right? So he would take the pickup truck and he would put like the pipes to like hang all the tools from it that he would just make himself. It wasn't like a real tool rack. Yeah. And he was driving this truck around for years and years and years. And I remember him coming to tell my grandma this story. And then eventually they bought him a brand new pickup truck because his old truck just died. And how like pissed the like grandpa was that like he couldn't fit all his tools. So the second he got it, he immediately went out and rather than buying like a legit tool rack, just made another janky one out of PVC pipes and stuff. Yeah, so this dude's driving around in the nicest brand new truck with his janky ass. And I'm like, dude, that's just what we do as a people. Yeah. We make it ours.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We make everything, we give things personality.
That's exactly what it is.
Right. I have a Chicago Cubs piggy bank that my dad found at a market one day. He goes, hey, look what I found. Cool. And I had put bills in there because I was doing this like, let's put bills in here sort of thing. I said, you know what? That's not going to work. I said, so I ended up breaking the little bottom part on accident. I meant to just pop it, but it like cracked. Pulled out all the dollar bills and I put them in an envelope or whatever. And I just started filling change in there. I said, Dad, do you think you can fix this? It's just a little snap. Like you can probably glue it. No, he's like, nah, I don't need this. And he ended up putting tape and a piece of cardboard. And then on top of the cardboard, put like a piece of plywood and whatever, dude. And just tape all over it. He's like, here, nothing's falling out of this. I was like, it takes me longer to pull every, like, I think I filled it up once and I was going to take it to the credit union, right? To pour all the change in there. Mm-hmm. It took me 10 minutes to just pull that thing off. It took me I was like, dude, I don't know, break this thing, you know, because it's the only one that I've ever seen. And, you know, so I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, we make things our own.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And El Aguitado is not a song that I would think you would want to come out to the boxing ring. But the song itself just gets me going. It's just a cool song, even though it's about a dude talking to his friend and saying, "What's wrong with you?" And he goes, "My girlfriend left me." And then she doesn't love me anymore. It's like, nah, dude, she just left you for another guy. Yeah. You know, and that's the whole song. And then the chorus is, "Hey, let's go party, have some beers."
Right. They're all just having beers, man.
Yeah. So.
That's also, I love that look, the boots, the blazers, cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Like that's just a great
absolutely.
Look.
Yeah. And he's a really very prominent singer. I mean, he's doing really well for himself. So kudos to him. Shayla's actually met him once. My girlfriend, she's met him at Plaza Mexico off the 5 freeway over there.
He passed away, didn't he? The musical artist Jorge Valenzuela. Let me see. I think he died in a car crash, dude.
Oh my gosh! Really?
When I was looking him up, yeah, he died in a car crash. Let me look. Regional Mexican dies in car crash in 2018. Oh crap!
Oh man,
he was really young too. I was like,
there goes my story because I didn't know it was in 2018. Holy crap! Sorry, guys. Wow, I need to look some things up before I.
No, so let me see. I think. I like you. There's like a percentage of music in Spanish that I listen to. Obviously, my Spanish is not that great. But like stuff like this, there's just something about it that really gets me like happy and excited. And with this song, especially in the middle, it like breaks down, but like banda style, and it was just rad.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend had told me that he had met him I guess at this point it's been years because they saw him at Plaza Mexico. I don't know if he did a performance, but I think I don't remember exactly what the story is, but I know she had met him, but this was forever ago. I had no idea that he had passed away. I mean, that goes to show I'm not really involved in that style of music. I enjoy a lot of it, just I've never really been involved in it. So I guess I'm going to have to start. Oh, man, that sucks, man. Yeah, man. Poor guy, dude. That sucks.
That sucks. This song was a banger. I put this one on a couple times. This is a good one. This is a good one.
That sucks when you have like, that's when you have like prominent artists, you know, when you think they're going to do well, and then unfortunately things like that happen, right?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Yeah. How about let's hop up to the next one?
All right.
Wow. Let's hop over to the next one. Yeah.
So this was Be Mine is Opening Bombing Mission by Nobuo Uematsu from the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. It's the opening to the game.
I thought this was going to be a wrestling song. This has wrestling theme all over it. Really? Like independent wrestler.
Oh, independent? What is an independent wrestler? Like a
minor league wrestler.
Oh, okay.
There's promotions all over the place.
Oh, okay.
In our area.
I know what you're talking about.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think
you have like EWF, which is the Empire Wrestling Federation, which is not too far from here. You have Ring of Honor is also an independent wrestling promotion, even though it's one of the bigger ones. Pacific Coast Wrestling, PCW, which is up in like Westminster area, or I'm sorry, like further out in LA. PWG, which is Pro Wrestling Guerrillas, which is also one of really big indie promotion, things like that. Like, so you would when you're in an indie promotion, you walk out to you choose your own, right? You have your own theme song. I mean, if you're not like in a WWE or an AEW, you don't need licensing rights, right? It's a small show, bro. It's at a American Legion Hall or something like that, right? So So actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna talk a little bit about wrestling right now. So I went to a show at an American Legion Hall.
Nice.
This was had to have been a long time ago, and it was a death match. There were different types of death matches on this card, and the last one they had fluorescent light bulbs everywhere, all up and down of this ring, right? All circled around this ring, and they just started cracking these like fluorescent lights on each other's backs. I don't know if you know, but you know, there's stuff in there it's poisonous to us, right?
Yeah.
So everybody had to open up all these windows. I mean, all these doors from the American Legion, and about a month later, that same promotion had the exact same match in a backyard. at that show at the American Legion Hall, there had to have been 50 people. I went to this other show in a couple cities over. There's maybe 4 people at this show, and I was one of them.
Nice.
And it was at a backyard. It was at like this lady's backyard. Yeah.
Backyard shows are. I always have a soft spot for a good backyard show.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take you to a backyard wrestling show one day. You're gonna be. It's gonna be pretty interesting.
I look forward to the day, man.
Yes, let's. So, if it wasn't your pro wrestling song, what would it? What was it?
If I were gonna come out for a comedy special, it would be to this.
Ah, okay.
Because you would know exactly what you're getting. You're gonna get a nerd who's gonna come up and talk about nerdy crap for an hour.
Yeah. You know, Brian Posehn is somebody that I really enjoy because he's such a nerd.
Oh yeah.
But he comes out and he loves metal though. He just comes out to metal.
He's such a metalhead. He has an album out called Grandpa Metal.
Oh really? Interesting.
He works with a lot of like Scott Ian from Anthrax, just a bunch of people on that. I'm gonna link that in the show notes.
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be a good one.
Because man, I love Brian Posehn. He's hilarious.
Yeah. How about our next song?
Before we do that, I do want to let people know about this because this is one of the things I like about this guy, the composer. So first of all, I think it's Nobuo Uematsu, the guy that does I think I'm saying that right, and probably not. The dude that does the music to the Final Fantasy series, or he did up until maybe the last couple of games. But he's like a really underrated composer. The music in those games is fucking fabulous. Yeah. And on the metal tip, because he's also a huge fan of heavy metal, he has, and I'm gonna link these guys too. A side band that I don't think does anything anymore called the Black Mages, and all they did was do heavy metal versions of the fight music from Final Fantasy games.
That's rad.
So, and it's amazing. Like, it's just straight up metal from all the fight music, the different fight themes, the boss themes. We should do an episode on video game covers at some point. I think that'd be a cool episode.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
There's a lot of great bands that do that stuff.
Yeah, we got to absolutely.
But yeah, man, that's my piece. I think he's a terribly underrated composer, but I definitely think people should check out his stuff, especially because in Japan, and I think you can find a lot of it on Spotify. They have like orchestral versions of the old themes. Because this was like Super Nintendo era. Final Fantasy VII was like PlayStation, so you didn't really have, like, the music was still like kind of MIDI style. But if you go back even like early Nintendo, they have all those themes that are like fully orchestrated, and those are beautiful.
My take, I think we spoke about this before, but my take on Final Fantasy is that number 8, Final Fantasy 8 is my favorite because that was the one that introduced me to it. And I remember the cutscenes at the time were just amazing. I don't know if you remember that, but when they went from 7 is widely known to be the best, but I feel like 8 had just the best cutscenes, and the music. I still remember playing. I still have like the original Final Fantasy 8 on like the PlayStation game. I have the original 4. I still have the 4 disc on the case and everything. But that one in particular, dude, like that. I remember not only the cutscenes, but the music to the whole thing. So, I mean, he was very prominent.
Oh, yeah. That number 8 was the first time the cutscenes, because 7 was still very primitive. It was like right when it jumped over to PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I think among Final Fantasy like fans, they think 6 is the best. I think 6 is the best one. 7 is just my favorite.
Yeah.
But
I think that's for a lot of people though.
Yeah. But I remember 8 being like they kind of figured out the graphics, and that was when the cutscenes started to get like crazy detailed. And now if you see like a Final Fantasy cutscene from like a modern one, it's insane. Like the amount of detail that goes into that stuff is insane.
Yeah.
But they're always crazy. And now it's like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And those things stay forever. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. I really look forward to talking about this next one. And I'm kind of pissed that you took it, but that's okay. Danger Zone. Kenny Loggins. Let's do this. Danger Zone for you would be, let me see what I put on my notes here. Danger Zone would be your I don't know, like would you use like MMA? What would this be?
When you get into the octagon with Rene Grano,
there it is.
You're walking into a danger zone. That's all I'm gonna say.
We would be remiss if we did not talk about the time we had game night in your garage, and my boy.
Can I just say that?
Let's not say his name. Let's not say his name. Because
can I just tell you though
yes.
that every time we had a game night in my garage, it was 12:15, and Jose would say, "You guys want to order some pizza?" I was like, "Jose, we can't. Everything's closed. We can't get pizza anymore." Oh man, okay. And then the next time, "You guys want to get pizza?" Jose, it's 12:15, dude. Like next time, tell us early.
You could suggest getting some pizza, Renee.
Well, I didn't want pizza until you mentioned it, and it's 12:15. Every time you wanted pizza, it was already closed.
I'm gonna look and see if we can get pizza anywhere at 12:15 here.
Yeah.
Late night pizza delivery. Late night
pizza deliveries on a Sunday. It was always on Sundays. It was always after Game of Thrones. Remember that. You have to be specific.
Late night pizza delivery. Domino's has late night until midnight or later. Yeah, it was 12:15. It wouldn't have worked. But we used to do game nights. We had a friend. I'm not going to name him because this is an embarrassing story. But he was not of his right mind. He was a little drunk. And I remember all he would do, he would somehow connect to the Bluetooth speaker And no matter, we would be in the middle of a song, he would play Danger Zone.
Yeah.
Beyond that, we would be talking. It would be like something like, hey man, I don't think that's a legal move. And he'd be like, yeah man, that's not a legal move. You're heading into the danger zone right there. And we're like, okay, dude, we get it. And then we'd be like, hey man, did you see that new did you see the new trailer for whatever movie? Because yeah man, you know what would be better?
That was Force Awakens time.
Force Awakens time. So you're like, oh my god, did you see the new Force Awakens trailer? And he'd be like, oh yeah, I saw that, but it'd be better if Kenny Loggins would play a danger zone. And it was, I think our friend Paul wanted to punch my friend.
I think so.
He was so furious. Because hey man, do you want another beer? Did you say danger zone? And it's like he wrote that joke for hours.
Dude, it did not stop. It got to the point where I got really good at just ignoring danger zone. And when I thought I was like, I need an octagon entrance. And I said, well, when you walk in, when you're in the octagon with Renee, you're in the danger zone.
Danger zone.
And I was like, you have to. And I was like, dude. And as soon as I thought of that, I just thought of our friend. And I was like, dude, this guy. And even till now, he even apologizes now.
To this day,
right? He always says, "I'm sorry, guys." It's like, dude, we'll never forget. I don't think I cannot go on this even saying danger zone without thinking about our friend.
Oh man,
it never fails.
It was hilarious.
He is. Yeah, people think that Danger Zone and Top Gun go hand in hand. Like, not for us.
No. And every time I think of our buddy.
Yep.
You know what I always think of when I think of Top Gun? Did you ever play the Nintendo Top Gun game?
I didn't. No.
It is known for being one of the hardest fucking games I had ever played. I don't think I could get through the first level because there was two things that would kill me every time. For whatever reason, I could not land on the aircraft carrier. It was deceptively hard. Maybe it's because I was so young. And then there were many times when you'd have to refuel mid-flight.
Yeah.
You're talking about like Nintendo, like 8-bit Nintendo. And it was just, I was furious. But one of the coolest things is the Top Gun theme in 8-bit. Look that up when you get a chance. But yeah, Kenny Loggins, man, he's an American treasure, man. Everything about this song is perfect.
Are you the kind of guy that throws your video game controller on the floor when you just get angry because you can't beat anything? Like, I used to be when I was a kid, but then I started buying my own things and I stopped doing that.
You froze out for a second, so I'm going to edit that out. But I'm not that guy anymore. When I was a kid, I was. Now I just kind of go, oh god.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm a full on, like, if it's too hard, I'm just gonna put it on easy mode. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I got to a point where I'm like, look, man, I got an hour and a half before I got to go to sleep because I got kids, and if I can't beat this boss, I'm just gonna put it on easy mode, and we're just gonna move on. Just gonna play this game.
I have to tell you guys. I have to tell you a story about the generation gap when it comes to video games. So I still have my Sega Genesis, and my nephews were here over the summer, and I said, "Why don't you guys?" I said, "What? You guys want to play Genesis?" Like, "Oh, what's that?" I was like, "It's an old game console." All right, cool. So for you guys who don't remember, the Sega Genesis is a 32-bit game console that had cartridges, and you
16-bit.
I'm sorry, 16-bit. Wow. I'm horrible. It was a 16-bit game console, and it went from 16 to 64. It goes from, and it has 3 buttons, A, B, C, and it had a start button, right? And it's just your regular D-pad. And it was it was a really wide controller, right? So I said, "You guys want to play? I don't know. What do you guys want to play?" And I had a bunch of old games, right? So we started playing and stuff. And then my nephew, I was like, "Hey, like." He was trying to go, like, let's just say we're playing, I don't know, Beavis and Butthead, right? And he wants to, like, pick something, and he kept pressing A.
Yep.
I was like, dude, how come it doesn't go? I said, you have to press start. They're like, oh, really? And I was like, yes, you press start to go to the next screen, right? For some reason, these kids play Modern Warfare, and they play everything you can think of, but they can't beat a 16-bit game. They can't go left to right. I don't understand. Like, I don't. It's like, guys, this stuff is easy. And there was we would swap game to game, and they could never beat any of it.
I had a very similar experience. In my class, it was the day before Thanksgiving break. The teacher I work with, we always had like a tradition that we would have like a Thanksgiving like potluck. And one year he brought his Super Nintendo Classic, right? And the kids were like, "How do I select?" I'm like, "You click the button that says select." What? I'm like, that's how you used to have to do it back in the day, man. You'd click select, and you'd get down. And I remember Punch Out like fascinated them, because Punch Out's all just like patterns, right? Like, you just got to remember. Yeah. And they're like, "How do you play this?" Like, and I'm like, "Dude, this was what we had. This is what we had." But it is definitely one of my great joys is watching kids who are all about Fortnite, that have that micro precision, like aiming with like joysticks. Just get to an old school D-pad and like 2 buttons and be like, "What am I supposed to do here?"
Yep, I love it.
Where are the triggers? It's like,
yep,
it's good.
It's so much fun when you see them do stuff like that. It's great. Yeah, and playing Sonic the Hedgehog, it's like they don't get it. They're like, "Dude, you just beat the level. Like, that's it. Just go left to right. You'll get there.
Yeah,
eventually." Yeah,
it's good times, man. It's good times.
Yeah, good times. Yeah. Let's hop over to the next one.
All right, the next one, man, would be mine, and that is "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal, man.
That dude's wingspan is large. He has a wingspan. Like, if you look at the album cover, it's like, I was like, "There's no way is that him on the cover?"
For which album?
For the one we're talking about right now.
Let me see, because he has an album cover that kind of scares me, where he's like in this weird kind of contorted position.
Yeah, and his arms are out.
Yeah. Oh, no.
That's the same one.
No, I know which one I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, he does have a massive wingspan.
Massive wingspan. There's a super cool poster that I would love to have, because I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. There is a poster of him with this, just showing him and his wingspan, and it's super long, right? And I'm like, and I always remember that particular poster, and then I saw the Seal cover. I was like, "Dude, this guy's wingspan's probably larger than Michael Jordan. Like, dude, this thing's huge." Yeah.
Look up the album cover to "Human Being" by Seal, and he's like, I think that's him, and it's like, it's a silhouette of him like in the nude. And he's in this weird position. He looks like the Xenomorph from Aliens, man. It's terrifying.
Oh,
like,
man.
I don't know how he got in. It's like almost Nosferatu, man. Look it up. Yeah. Give yourself some nightmares.
So I'm thinking this is your boxing song.
Oh yeah, this is my boxing song.
Yeah, this is your
boxing
song.
This come out, and I'd just be like, "Look, man, you're about to get the kiss from the rose."
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Yeah,
I would like sing it like on the way down. Like, I would be like going through like the crowd, like through the hall. I would just be like getting loose and just like miming it, just the whole thing.
We need to do a YouTube video eventually where we're in a boxing ring and I walk out to Danger Zone and you walk out to Kiss from a Rose, and I just look at you like you're walking into the danger zone.
Yeah.
And then what do you say?
I just, it's like a kiss from a rose.
Yeah.
The more I get of you, stranger it feels.
Yeah. If we're just gonna, that would be hilarious. Yeah, that would be great.
But Renee, did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large? Baby. Sorry.
I'm not gonna say that I don't sing that part when he doesn't. You know what I mean? Of course I do. You have to.
Everybody.
Seal is what is Seal? What would adult contemporary?
You know what? This is like, kind of adult contemporary. I would say it's like R&B kind of soul stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. He does have an album, I think, of standards too. I mean, the guy's obviously a hell of a singer.
Yeah.
But I think most of his stuff, like, he's English. Let's see what he got. Mid-90s for distinctive fusion of soul, folk, pop, dance, and rock. So yeah, adult contemporary kind of stuff.
Yeah,
He's kind of all over the place.
I will give credit when credit's due, dude. I mean, that dude, that dude's got some pipes on him for sure.
And you know what, man? I remember this from was it Batman? There was a Batman after the one after Batman Returns. Which one was
Batman? Oh, that was Batman and Robin.
Was it Batman and Robin that had an amazing soundtrack, but the movie was just not good?
Yes, Batman and Robin. Did I ever tell you, Paul, my friend Paul and I, when we were roommates, I said, "Hey, let's watch a movie." He goes, "All right." I go, "I'm going to pick it this time." All right, cool. And I picked Batman Forever. I think it was Batman and Robin, one of those two. And I think we didn't even last 10 minutes. He's like, "I can't do this." I was like, "Yeah, I can't do this either, dude." We just it was like, "You want to watch TV?" Like, "All right, let's just watch TV." Yeah, I remember we gave up. We're like, "Yeah, I can't do this, dude." Dude. Like, I can't. Yeah.
So I just looked this up. It was the Batman and Robin soundtrack.
Yes.
This had The End Is the Beginning by the Smashing Pumpkins, Look Into My Eyes by Bone Thugs and Harmony, Gotham City by R. Kelly, Foolish Games by Jewel, Revolution by R.E.M. This was a banger of a soundtrack, man.
Yeah, it was.
And is this one, I think this is the one that had Seal on it, or I might be completely off because I don't see Seal on here.
Batman Forever.
Was that Batman Forever?
Yeah, with Jim Carrey and
man, I got it confused then, but still. Yeah. At least something good came out of those movies, man.
Which is?
Soundtracks.
Oh.
Did you ever see the little clip?
What's wrong with me? We were just talking about that, like, wait, what?
Did you ever see in there's a clip, you can find it on YouTube. It's like it's from one of the Batman animated series where they take a shot at Joel Schumacher for his Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like animated. It's like the Tim Bruce era, like Batman. And it's like this little kid who's talking about Batman and like what he would do to his costume and his car. And he was like trying to make, like Batman, like Joel Schumacher made him like super like, how do I describe it? Like, how do you describe that era of Batman? Just really like ornate. Like, I remember, like, the Batmobile, like, glowed. It's like, that's not the point of the Batmobile, man. He's trying to get around without being seen.
Yeah.
A big blue glowing engine is not going to do that. And they were just like, shut up, Joel. And it's like, I get what you're doing.
Yeah. Gosh, some of the stuff that Paul Dini did was pretty great. But I don't think he ever touched any. I think the only Batman he touched was Detective, right?
No, I'm talking about the animated series.
No, I know that, but we're just talking Batman, so I'm just talking about Paul Dini, right?
Yeah.
Like Paul Dini.
Well, I only mention that because I think he was one of the creative forces behind the animated series.
Yeah,
I think Bruce Timm did like the design, but I think Paul Dini did the writing or whatever.
Yeah. Paul Dini did do the writing for Detective, didn't he? I mean,
I think at some point,
the animated series.
At some point, he for sure did the Detective comic.
That's right. You know which one he did do? No. I'm talking about. Wow, I'm all over the place. Paul Dini also wrote some of the scripts for the animated series.
Oh no, yeah, he did. He came up with I think Harley Quinn for the animated series. Like, yeah, he was like a main creative force, I think, behind the animated series.
Yeah, there's this particular episode. I don't know if Paul Dini. I don't think Paul Dini wrote this one, but one of my most memorable animated series episodes was when where Bruce wakes up in a timeline, like in a dream, where his mom and his dad are alive, and he's not Batman.
Oh.
And he's getting married to Selena Kyle.
Oh.
And I think it was the Penguin. Was it the Penguin or the Scarecrow that was messing with his mind? I think it was the Penguin. Yeah, I'm gonna show. You know what? They're on Daily Motion. But I will send you the episode. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. That's one of my favorite. That one and when all the villains are playing poker. I think that was a Paul Dini episode.
There is I don't know who wrote each episode. I just know he was a main creative force. But
yeah,
there is an episode of Batman the Animated Series where the Joker is like going around Gotham City in like a trash boat, like a boat that's got like a barge that's like full of trash that's obviously emitting toxic laughing gas or whatever. And I have a very clear memory of the music while that's happening. And it's been stuck in my head for years, and I've never looked up the episode. I'm going to do that tonight.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna send you those two that are very memorable to me. I remember those. You know which one? You know what show I never got into animated wise was a Superman.
Yeah, I was never that into, other than like when I was a real little kid and like the Fleischer era like Superman cartoons, because I had those on like VHS tape. I was never huge into Superman's cartoons.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, you know, man, DC has made some great animated movies though. Yeah, I think they trump anything that Marvel's trying to do animated wise.
I think Marvel did have that small stint of animated movies. I didn't see a lot of them. I've always said that when DC does a self-contained story, they're like unbeatable. Their self-contained stories are like the best.
Yeah,
I think Marvel does a better job of doing like ongoing series.
Right? Yeah, long term.
Long term, I think they're better. But I think if DC wants to do, like, you think of all those great like Hush and like Long Halloween, like New Frontier, all those things. When DC puts their mind to it, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I think the audience will eventually know that you and I have a great, a big respect for Darwyn Cooke.
Oh man, Darwyn Cooke's one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too, dude. I am a very big Darwyn Cooke fan. One of the things that I wish I was never, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to because he passed away, was getting to meet Darwyn Cooke, because I wanted him to draw me a sketch. That's what I wanted in my life, but I just wasn't able.
I am lucky enough to have a small sketch from him. I went to Comic-Con one year, a long time ago, when you could just walk in. It was right after New Frontier got the Absolute treatment, like that big. And one of the cool things that he did, even though like I'd read that he was kind of drunk and kind of a jerk to people at this Comic-Con, but he took my thing, he signed a bunch of books, which is great. But he opens the like the back cover of the Absolute edition, and in the back cover there's it's a black and white. It's just like, it looks like it was just drawn with like a marker of all the superheroes, like their outlines.
Yeah. And
he goes, "This is how you know I signed it." He'll sign it, and then he'll really quick draw in Supergirl, like above the rest.
That was like his thing, was Supergirl.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Yeah, there was that for a really, really long time. I had my desktop wallpaper was a picture of a sketch that he did of Supergirl, and I guess he had like I personalized it to someone in particular, and I remember downloading that and just like cropping out the name and just leaving the sketch on my wallpaper for the longest time. Yeah, that's by far, the New Frontier is by far my favorite story.
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's hop over to I think this might be our last one.
Second to last one, man. We're almost done.
All right.
Glorious Domination, Bobby Roode by
Rude.
Yeah, I can't read. Rude, 2 O's DE. Rude.
Rest of us, yeah.
WWE CFOs.
CFO is the artist, yeah, the composers.
Renee, if you got all of the music that was written for wrestlers, could you open a record store?
I think you can. Of just singles, like singles, right? Just make like
singles and CDs and stuff. Because I have that Hulk Hogan album, and I know a lot of them. They have the one thing I'll give wrestling, they like self-produce all their own stuff.
They do, yeah. WWE does, yeah, yeah. So this song, my parents celebrated their 50th anniversary last year, and they wanted like a wedding party, and the wedding party were their kids, right? Their kids and their grandkids, and then my sisters and my brother's significant others. So they did it by age.
Did you do that on purpose?
What do you mean?
My sisters and my brother's significant others?
Yeah.
Are you just dropping bars on me right now?
I'm dropping bars on you. That's what I do.
Do it.
Come on, man. This is you gotta get on the ones and twos quickly, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail your story.
You know what I mean? Orange, door hinge, you know?
Lincoln knows that orange rhymes with door hinge.
It does. Thank you, Eminem. And thank you, Anderson Cooper.
That's right.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, so I wanted to walk out to the Hulk, and they introduce us, right? Like, oh, here's, whatever. And I wanted to come out to the Hulk Hogan theme song, but Hulk Hogan theme song was not on Spotify. It's not on there.
Oh.
And so I said, you know what? I'm going to do the next best thing, and I'm going to play Glorious by Bobby Roode. And my dad's like, go already, like, go. And I said, no, Dad, you have to wait for the right. I was the last one before my parents walked in. Like, go. And I was like, Dad, you have to wait for the right moment. And when the guitars hit, I walk up and I have this like this Target or like this Kmart tag team wrestling belt, and I just had it up in the air when I walked out. And I remember people going crazy, right? Just like laughing and it was like the funnest thing. And just telling my sisters and my brothers, like, I had the best entrance. Like, I didn't have to just walk out and everybody like basked in my glory. And so this particular song is, for me, would be any entrance, anything you can think of. If you hear this song is my alarm. This song wakes me up in the morning.
This song is like a power metal, like symphonic. I could see this being an alarm.
Yes, an alarm. It's me walking out of the shower when I just feel nice and clean. This can be after a power breakfast, after a jog. I don't care. This is my entrance to life.
I love it.
My entrance to life. I love this song. I'm going to send you. We'll post it in the show notes. It's a couple of videos from particular pay-per-views when he was the champion in their promotion called NXT, and they have some of the best entrances. They had a dude playing piano. Before he walked, they was playing piano the whole time. They had an entire choir sing the lyric while he walks out. It is amazing, dude. I will give WWE credit when credit's due, and it's all about production. Oh, yeah. They can do some amazing entrances, man, and this song just gets me every time. Nice. It never fails. Yeah, this song is my, like I said, this song is entrance to life.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Last one. The last one for us. The Planet Krypton by John Williams from the Superman soundtrack.
This is your Octagon.
This is for if I were in a band, we would come out to this. One of the many. Just the beginning, the first like 2 minutes. But this one, famously, one of my favorite trailers of all time, the Superman Returns trailer. The one.
Too bad the whole movie wasn't like that.
You know what, man? I like that movie.
Yeah,
I didn't mind it. I thought it was like kind of a cool throwback to the Richard Donner Superman.
Yeah.
But I know like people hated it, but I don't know, man. Superman's a hard character to get right.
I think one of the issues DC has is that I feel like most of the characters aside from Batman just isn't relatable. From just like a, you know what I mean? Like aside from the comics and stuff, from like a human aspect, I just feel they're not as relatable as like a Captain America or an Iron Man. I don't know. I don't know if I make any sense.
But. Well, no, I think that was Marvel's whole thing, right? Is their characters were more down to earth. They were more regular, like they were based in reality, whereas DC's were always like he's an alien that's unstoppable, right? Like Wonder Woman's from a magical land where she's basically a female Superman. Batman is their most like relatable, right? Everyone else, like think about it, like Martian Manhunter, all that stuff. But I think that's the thing, like DC tries to shy away from that and they try to make their characters like edgy. Nah, man, don't do that stuff. Like make them these gods and like don't do what you did in Suicide Squad and try to appeal to the Hot Topic crowd. Just do what you do best. Just tell cool stories with these like characters and give them interesting things to do.
Just make them animated.
Dude, their animated movies are good, man. And if anything, I know I've talked about it, but like Marvel proved you could do it with Spider-Verse, man. Like you can make just as good a movie as any of your live action stuff animated.
Yep. And they're making a new one. So it was supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait. Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man movie, and I think it might even be my favorite Marvel movie, man. I love Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. No, I look Into the Spider-Verse is great, but Spider-Man 2 to me is near and dear. I think that was their best Spider-Man.
Oh man, this is a good one. This is a good episode.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I actually thought that before we move on, when I hear it, I just picture fear in your opponent's eyes walking into the octagon. I don't know. I just feel like that was going to be like an octagon song.
Yeah, there's this big crescendo at the end.
Yes.
Or not at the end. I'm sorry. There's a big crescendo like after the first 2 minutes before it kind of goes into a more like the first 2 minutes are kind of like a buildup. And then after that, it kind of just goes off into more traditional like soundtrack music to like what's going on screen. But after that crescendo, I just thought it'd be cool. Then you could just go into whatever your opening song is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, I think one of the coolest things that we saw, I'm sure we talked about it before, is when we saw Motion City Soundtrack and they came out to the audio of the trailer to The Force Awakens. You remember that?
Cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, you know, that's cool because that just shows your inner nerddom, right? I mean, I think that's always
I always like when a band has like a cool intro like song. That's always like a fun thing. I know like the Addicts do this thing where they come out to the music from A Clockwork Orange, obviously because they dress like droogs. But it goes in between that and the Ramones, or Michael Graves era Misfits. They always had they had to have on the album's intro songs ready to go, and they would come out to that.
That's pretty cool. Sweet deal. Yeah. Let's go into our weekly recommendations. Why don't you go first?
Oh man, my weekly recommendations. Oh god, I don't have anything for a weekly recommendation. You go first, man. I couldn't. I thought I had written it down, but I don't have anything.
So I'm gonna have a recommendation for. The only reason I'm gonna recommend this is because of the intro and the outro to this EP, and it's from a band called Neck Deep, which is, lo and behold, a pop punk band from the UK. They've been around for quite some time now. I think their first EP dropped, in 2011. It was called The History of Bad. Oh, I'm sorry, that was their second one. The first one's called Rain in July. And the only reason I'm going to recommend it is because to kind of stay on theme, it's not necessarily entrance songs or anything like that. I just like the idea of having, and by stay on theme, I'm talking about the fact that you can always start off with something, an entrance. Well, yeah, it's kind of this. Yeah, I guess it's an entrance. I don't know. I'm babbling on now, but the very beginning of the EP starts with a Back to the Future reference, and it's about 10 seconds or so, and it goes into this record, and then at the very end, it's Biff saying, doing the "What are you looking at, bud" headline, and then it goes into the last song. So I just figured I'd throw something out there that kind of has a little reminiscence of something that I love, which is pop punk and Back to the Future.
And I just realized that I didn't put it at the end, but I figured out where I put it in my notes, and I'd already talked about it. I was gonna recommend the albums by the Black Mages. They're instrumental, obviously, and we talked about it. They're the Final Fantasy fight music band, but if you're into just killer musicianship and like hard rock kind of progressive stuff, check them out. They are not on Spotify, so I will put YouTube links.
Sweet. Yeah, and we will put the Rain in July on the show notes. It is on Spotify. So, and if you guys take a listen to that record, really to that EP, see if you guys can spot the bass. The bass can be really, it's really fuzzy. It's very, very. I don't want to say cheaply made because this is what put them on. This is what kind of got them in the scene. But the bass really stands out in some of these songs because it just has a very fuzzy distortion to it. So I think that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Because that wasn't really common in like a pop punk band,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sweet deal, man. Let's go into our last segment, which is called the Wind Down, where we talk about anything else besides the songs that we talked about today. Jose.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. And since you did mention it at the beginning, at the top of the show. How do you feel, or what did you feel when the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series after 32 years?
I was beyond excited. I have a video of me because the kids were up. They were all awake. I picked up both of them and just spun them around for like 5 minutes, just like laughing hysterically. It was like the greatest feeling. It felt amazing to finally have it after. For some context for our non-baseball fans, we've made it to the World Series 3 times in the last 4 years, and we've had our hearts broken twice. So to finally have it was just, I'm just really happy for the team. Finally happy that Kershaw gets to walk away with a ring. Yeah, man, it was a good day. And all that championship gear is coming in the mail.
Yeah. Being in LA, there was fireworks everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It was non-stop for about a good 15, 20 minutes.
My buddy, our buddy E-Man, sent in our group chat dudes on Twitch like walking around the festivities.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy, man.
Yeah. It was nuts, dude. I mean, it was, just being a baseball fan, even though my team wasn't in it, I think it was a really good series. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good games.
I do feel that Kevin Cash, the general the manager for the Rays, I think I like talking smack to my Dodger fans, but this is my honest opinion. I think they handed the Dodgers that Game 6. I think they would have gone into a Game 7. In my opinion, I just think they would have.
I think they would have.
He should not got rid of Blake Snell. I honestly don't. I think Blake Snell could have gone 2-3 more innings, and he was only at like 70 pitches, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
I understand analytics, I understand statistics, I get that, but I think one of the problems that I have with baseball now is that baseball is stirring away from human nature and just sticking to analytics now. And that's what the Rays have been doing all season. That's what got them to the World Series. But I would think that at some point you would think, okay, I understand that they don't want to see him. They don't want him to pitch, through the lineup a third time. But he struck out the 3 hottest batters on the Dodgers lineup consecutively. 6 strikeouts on 6 times.
What? As a Dodger fan and who watched Dave Roberts hand away, because he would also be like, oh, well, you know what? He just got a hit. Let's pull him out. And it's like, so it's almost kind of poetic justice. But
it was against the wrong team. It can't be poetic justice against a team that didn't do it and that didn't beat the Dodgers in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
It's like irony, right? Let's go more with irony. But it still felt good. And then even if we went to a Game 7, then we would have had Buehler, and Buehler's been on fire. Like, he's just been I think it would have gone our way either way. But I just think man, I was happy. And then Urias did his job splendidly. Like, it was just.
I think he should have been the MVP for the World Series.
Yeah.
I think so. I think he tore it up. Yeah,
he just came in and was like, all right, I'm just going to do it.
Boom. Yeah, just gonna shut everybody down. Let's just make this happen.
That's what you want me to do. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
What did you think of the whole Justin Turner controversy?
Man, that's tough, dude. I'm about flattening the curve, obviously, right? I mean, we've had some scares in our family. My mom had gotten sick already. We're very grateful. We're very lucky that she didn't get super bad, but it was just the 2 of us. But
and I take it that you did not read the statements today.
I did not read the statements today.
Okay.
But I did see. That's difficult, dude. That's hard, man. I mean, you won. You won a championship in your team, but I don't know, dude. I get it, bro. Like, he should have stayed away, right? Obviously, should have stayed away. That was everybody else's decision. They let him do it. So if anything, it might be more MLB's fault too.
You know what? So before the statements today, I was gonna say, like, dude, why is Major League Baseball? Why are you testing a guy and then sending it to Utah, and then like his test comes back inconclusive? You still let him play.
Yeah.
And then And then in the middle of a game, the guy's already been on the field for 4 hours. Like,
Yeah.
then you're gonna pull him out.
Mhm.
But I guess I was reading the statements today that I guess obviously once the game like ended, somebody was just like, "Hey man," like he was just getting mixed messages from all sorts of people, and he's like, "I apologize," but like his teammates were texting him like, "Dude, you've been around us all day, and we've been playing the game all day. Just come out and take the photos." Like, and they like, we accept because I talked to everybody, but I guess he got conflicting information from like different people saying like, oh, other people have already tested positive, or we're not sure that these like, and like MLB for their credit was like, look, that was on us. Justin's a good dude. He does a lot. Justin apologized, but he's not getting any kind of like I think Dodger fans would have rioted if they had really gone down on him, considering that the Astros just got to walk away with nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, this is, they were caught cheating, but I think this is a little more personal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But it's, I think it comes down. This comes
right?
down to MLB though. Like,
absolutely.
So
I agree.
you want to like, if you want to go that route, like, if he was test positive, he should not have been allowed to play from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
It's like there wasn't a Ralph's that can get you a 15-minute exam. Like, because I can go to Ralph's right now and get a 15-minute. He should have been escorted away. Like, if that was your thing. And then like, like who gets test results 4 hours later in the middle of the game? And then at that point, he's been around everybody.
Yeah.
And there have been all sorts of reports that like the MLB bubble was just not, like, they were getting room service, they were going golfing, like,
that's what I've heard. Yeah, I heard that the bubble was just not as clean as like the NBA. Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't up to par. Yeah, and that's the MLB's fault. Yeah, I agree with you. MLB's, they went the entire season, except for the Cardinals, right, who had an issue, and then the Marlins who had the issues. But bro, like, that was at the beginning, and it was the last 2 innings of your season, and they just dropped the ball.
And at this point, it's kind of like, look, man, like that was a week ago. I haven't heard anything bad happen to everyone. I think it'll just be a footnote at the end of it'll be barely a blip at some point.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we get a full season next year.
Let's hope we get anything next year. I'm really ready for this to be over.
Yeah, I think we all are, right?
Yeah.
I think I just want to give some words of encouragement to everybody listening. Is you guys are not alone with the feeling like anxiety and like wanting to walk out of your house and just be normal. The one thing that I have been doing the last few months, because I'm sure everybody feels that way. Jose, I'm sure you felt that way. We've talked about this before. I feel that way sometimes. Is we need to remember that we're not the only people going through it.
Yeah.
So just take some comfort in the fact that you're not the only one going through it, that we're all going through the same thing.
Absolutely.
And the best way for this to end soon is to stay home and, or wear your mask and be as preventative as possible. Right. That's
100%.
That's the best we can do. Yeah. So that way this ends quicker and we can actually go back to some sort of normalcy, hopefully sooner than later.
Could not agree more.
Yes. And on that note, everybody, we will say farewell, good night, good evening, and
before we go, let's get the shout outs or the plugs.
I'm so sorry, guys. Yes. It was a joke. I knew you were gonna do that.
You totally knew I was gonna do that. All right. So
that was part of the notes today. I was supposed to do that.
All right, guys. So as you know, you can find everything about us at halfstepdownpod.com. That's where you're going to find all the information about the show. Our social media stuff's all there. If you are on Instagram and Twitter, look us up at halfstepdownpod. Remember to look us up on Facebook. We're facebook.com/halfstepdownpod. Search us up on YouTube. Every episode is on YouTube now. Make sure to check out our Spotify playlists in the description. And then please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like us, please help spread the word. Use hashtag #HalfStepDownPod.
And Half Step Down radio show on Thursday nights, 7 p.m. on TitanRadio.org. It's just me playing some music with the same name, and that's also on the Half Step Down page on our account. If you go to the HSD radio playlist, you'll find all the songs that I played there.
Cool.
I am a terrible host today. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm a terrible. I forgot.
It's okay, man. We're doing the best we can.
Yes,
It's a free
we are.
podcast.
It's a free podcast. Jinx, buy me a Coke. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a good night. I hope we tickled your earbuds.
Yes, we're bringing it back.
Jose, you have yourself a good night, my friend. We will talk soon.
See ya.
Yeah, give it up for this guy. I promise you guys.
Just so we're all clear, that was not like a real song.